morning, Lionhearts. Let's kick it off right. Days with Jordan the Lion begins now. Park time! You want to go to Silver Lake? Bit of a gloomy day out here today, a little overcast. Alright, we just got over to Silver Lake. We're going to take Jaw to the park for a little while, let him play. This is his first day back. And then you and I, are going to the Valley, and we're going to do 3 of the most memorable locations from Cameron Crowe's Say Anything. Still some Halloween remnants up in that window. He's ready. Look at him. Well, I guess we'll have to go to the big dog park. They have the small dog park closed off. Well, let's see how this goes, huh? The question will be, will Jaw decide to go mingle? And it looks like he is. There he goes, trotting into the... Like I said, once one dog is down, he goes and joins the party, licks the other dog's face. Now, there are definitely more than just the 3 locations that I'm going to today, because half the movie was filmed up in Washington, and the other half was done down here in the Valley. And even beyond the 3 that we're doing today, there are more even out in the Pasadena, Monrovia area that I'll do in another vlog. But for today, I want to pick my 3 favorite scenes, and I feel like these are the 3 most important scenes for what happens in the movie and like the more sentimental moments of the movie. And I'm not using my new camera yet. I ordered a wide angle lens, and it should be here tomorrow, so I'm gonna hold off until then. Every once in a while somebody asks what I'm shooting on, so I figured I'd tell you. Since I was showing it yesterday, you probably thought I was starting with that today, but I'm not. I have no idea what they're doing over there in the other dog park. You can see now they've got the cherry picker out there. Now he's mingling with some folks. He's over there playing, you can see him now. So one of the interesting things about the 3 sites that we're gonna see today is that 2 of those 3 were actually used in other extremely famous movies, and I'll tell you what those scenes were when we get to those. Having fun? You look like it. He's actually having a blast over there. He's been playing with all the dogs. He's been running all over the park. I'm really surprised, actually. Usually a new section of a park or something, he's usually kind of boring the first day, but not today. All right, playtime is over. Let's go do some vlogging. All right, so to take you back to Say Anything, if you remember, the storyline was that John Cusack plays Lloyd Dobler, and Lloyd Dobler is this kind of awkward guy that's graduating high school, and he's in love with a girl who is like the head of her class, this gorgeous girl named Diane Court, and she is so advanced, taking like college classes and doing all these things, that she never really connects with anybody in her senior class. So he randomly calls her up, gets the nerve up to call her up and ask her out on a date, and originally she's gonna say no, but then she starts laughing at him. His awkwardness kind of like lures her in, and she realizes that she doesn't really know anybody that she's gone to school with, so she agrees to go. When they get to the party, he gets designated the key master, so he has to take all the keys from the kids and then decide at the end of the night if they're sober enough to drive home. So throughout the night, she's having a great time. She enjoys him, and so they end up having one kid who can't drive home, so they end up having to give him a ride home. And then the movie takes us to where we're going to now, the 7-Eleven scene. Well, here's our 7-Eleven from Say Anything. A scene that originally was not even written into the movie. It wasn't something that actually came about until after most of the movie was already filmed. They started editing it, and Cameron Crowe said, you know, I really need something that shows Lloyd's sweet side. And this ends up becoming a moment that Diane tells her father about later, that this is what she always thinks about when she thinks of Lloyd. So it's right here that after they've dropped off the last kid that couldn't drive home, that they're coming out of the front doors of this 7-Eleven over here. And Diane's basically telling him her plans for after high school, and how she can say anything to her father, and how They completely trust each other and everything, and they start walking out here, and once they hit the sidewalk right here, Lloyd kicks a bunch of broken glass out of the way for her to be able to walk by, and she ends up telling her dad when he says, you know, are you serious about this boy? She first says that they're friends, and then she says, no, I do love him, because every time I think about when people say, why are you with Lloyd Dobler, I think about the time that we were walking out of the 7-Eleven and he kicked the glass out of the way for me. So this is actually, yeah, this is the first scene where you realize that she truly is like falling for him, and that they're gonna start seeing each other after this party. She mentions that this 7-Eleven is across the street from her house, so when he does the scene where he's doing the boombox, holding the boombox out, originally they did film that across from where the house location was, but it was like a private housing community, but where they actually redid the scene because the cinematographer said maybe we should film another version of that. They actually did it right over here in this park. So now we're gonna head into the park, and I'm gonna show you where the scene was that Lloyd holds the boombox as In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel plays. Now, using In Your Eyes for this song was no happy accident. This isn't one of those cases where a record label was trying to push a song and they were trying, you know, influencing it to be in a movie. This is a song that Cameron Crowe himself reached out to Peter Gabriel to put in the movie. And I think even Peter Gabriel turned him down a couple of times and then finally gave in and allowed it to be used, which, thank God, because it's the perfect song for it. So if we take this trail down here, that's where it actually happened. So right here on this trail, as I mentioned earlier, 2 movies were actually filmed here. They filmed the scene in Pee-wee's Big Adventure where he's being chased by the 2 kind of bully kids on bikes. That actually happens up and down this this trail, but right here is also where they had Lloyd Dobler's car parked when he pulls out the boombox and has it over his head playing In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel, the song that earlier in the movie, after Lloyd and Diane first make love, as he's shivering, she notices it and then hears that song and says, listen to the song, it's a beautiful song. And you can actually see it's not the same picnic tables off to the side, but you can see where the old picnic tables were in that same spot, and all the trees and everything around right here when he's holding that boombox up over his head. And this is after they've broken up. She basically doesn't want to break up with him, but she feels like she owes it to him because she's going to be leaving, and just everything that's going on. Her father's being investigated by the FBI, but she's laying in bed and hears this. She never comes out. There's not that moment where she, you know, smiles at him out the window or anything. It's just a moment where she's laying in bed and realizes how much she cares. So then I would say our third most memorable scene, even though this is probably by far the most memorable scene in the movie, or it's at least the one that the movie's known for. Our third scene we're going to now, and this is where she finally tells Lloyd, I love you. And this location is only about 2 blocks away. You can see the 7-Eleven is right over here. It's only about 2 blocks away in that direction. They kind of kept all of these scenes for what we're doing today all in the same area. And that is an amazing scene back there. I mean, not only just because of the music, but if you really watch John Cusack's expression, just the way his eyes are moving as the song's playing, it just pulls you in. It's a great acting scene for sure. Now, if you watch my channel on a regular basis, this next stop we're making will be nowhere new to you. I have shown this a million times, but I've never once told you that it was in this movie. Here we have a pig and a rabbit riding bikes. I think that's a new band. And you can probably hear a bunch of kids screaming. It's because we're actually over by Lancashire Elementary, and it does have one very, very famous 6th grader that went here, Miss Marilyn Monroe. You can see it says right here, student Norma Jean Baker. Went to 6th grade here, winning awards for track and field. She would go on to be known more famously as Marilyn Monroe. And here's the elementary school. One of Marilyn Monroe's elementary schools. In case you were curious to see what the front of it looked like. And look, their mascot's the lion. That was a bit of a shock. And then there's good old CB Charlie Brown right over here. Now I've shown this place a million times, like I said, because every time I pass by here I always have to point out that this is where Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Miyagi were watching the Cobra Kai dojo in through this window, because this was the Cobra Kai dojo. Now it also, during the making of Say Anything, this was where Lloyd was training those kids. He was conducting that kickboxing class. He mentions earlier in the movie that kickboxing is a new sport and that he thinks there's a future in it. So he is teaching kickboxing to some kids and then gets a phone call and comes walking towards us. But then later on in the movie, after both scenes that we've already seen happen, Lloyd is in here sparring. And they have a ring built in here, and where that wall is over there, they actually had a fake wall a little further in front of it. And while he's sparring, Diane comes walking out of a little archway kind of over on this side where this window is over here. Let me see if I can point it out, like right over in here. She comes through an archway right there, sees him sparring, and he looks over and then he gets kicked in the face and gets his nose broken. So they would have had a little like divider wall, kind of where those open doors are over there. It would have started right there coming towards us. And so Lloyd would have actually been laid out right here on the ground. That's where they would have fixed his nose, and she would have came over and started talking to him, and then he would have stood up and would have been standing against the wall right here. There was an American flag on the wall and everything, and that's where she tells him that she found out that her father is guilty and that she needs Lloyd. And he said, "Do you need me or do you need someone?" And she says, "I love you," you know, 3 or 4 times, and then says, "I need you." And that's pretty much when she decides that she's back with Lloyd for the long haul, and Lloyd decides he's gonna take off to England with her. Kind of cool to see the filming location of it. You can see, I mean, they had white padding and everything on the floor, so, you know, now it's not even in use anymore, unfortunately. Last time it was in use, I think it was also a kickboxing or like CrossFit type studio here. But yeah, man, he was laying right here on this this section of the ground. Pretty monumental moment in the movie. And like I said, also the Cobra Kai dojo. So Sensei Kreese would have been walking up and down there. Man confronts you, he is the enemy. Enemy deserves no mercy. And you could even see while he's having his sparring match, you can see the windows over here to the right. You can see those kind of in the reflection of the mirror. They must be doing some filming or something over here. I've never heard of this, but yeah, I can't go investigate, but that's probably, they must be filming a new show or something. Yeah, right down in there. Now I'm gonna get my workout in over here at the public park. Alright, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed getting to see the memorable moments of Say Anything today. Wanted to give shout outs to Kathy O'Hara, Bonnie Spetz, and Janice Lee Taylor, as well as Rachel Delgado for making contributions to my channel. Thank you all for watching, and we have a special vlog tomorrow. We've been invited somewhere from an old friend that was in a previous vlog, so come back and see me tomorrow. Have a great night. and goodbye.